Al Capone didn't build a gang, he built a monopoly. He was a strategic businessman operating in one of the most profitable industries in American history, an industry created not by free competition, but by government policy. Prohibition didn't just ban alcohol. It wiped out legal competition and handed the entire supply chain to anyone brave enough to seize it. This market turned ordinary criminals into multi-millionaires, proving a timeless rule of economics: when the law ignores demand, the black market will satisfy it. In 1920, when the 18th Amendment went into effect, the U.S. government sold it as a moral crusade. But this was a political promise, not an economic calculation. Demand for alcohol didn't disappear, it became inelastic. And where there is demand without legal supply, the price skyrockets. In this gap, between the law and reality, Al Capone built his empire. Capone's enterprise was a vertically integrated corporation. He controlled the breweries, the transport routes, and the distribution networks. At his peak, he earned an estimated $100 million per year. Adjusted for inflation, that is over $1.5 billion today, more revenue than many Fortune 500 companies. But Capone knew that illegal profits needed a legal face. He invested in restaurants and cash-heavy businesses to disguise the origin of his wealth. He was a master of risk management, knowing that his massive margins existed only because the product was illegal. He understood that the day it became legal again, his monopoly would vanish. Before Prohibition, alcohol was a low-margin commodity. After the ban, every risk in the supply chain added a risk premium. Bribes, protection, and dangerous logistics drove prices up, and consumers paid anyway. Capone realized what lawmakers didn't: Prohibition didn't stop crime, it industrialized it. Corruption wasn't a side effect, it was the operating system. When the legal system becomes dependent on illegal money, enforcement is no longer about justice, it's about the price. By the late 1920s, Chicago politics and organized crime were two sides of the same coin. However, power built on policy is always vulnerable to political change. During the Great Depression, tax revenue from legal alcohol became more attractive to the government than the moral arguments for prohibition. Capone, a national symbol of lawlessness, was finally taken down, not for his violence, but for his paperwork, tax evasion. In 1933, Prohibition was repealed. The market that made Capone a billionaire dissolved overnight. But the cycle never stopped. From the legalization of cannabis to the rise of cryptocurrencies in regulatory gray zones, the dynamics are identical. When governments restrict supply, they don't destroy markets, they redirect them. The real insight from Capone's story is about the intersection of law, money, and opportunity. Markets are never truly free, they are shaped by regulation. Understanding these shifts is a form of financial literacy. History repeats itself. If you don't understand the economics behind it, it will crush you. If this gave you a new perspective, subscribe. History has the answers, I'll show you where to look.